Good morning, everyone. Mr. Tulsiram, let's wait for a couple of minutes. Our VC is joining.
Okay.
We request all the student participants to turn off your camera, please.
Mr. Selva, please admit our Dean and Vice Chancellor. They are trying to join. Dr. Sendil, please send the link once again to our Vice Chancellor.
Okay.
I have already sent and he has called me also.
Okay.
Please. Please stop the registrations. Our Dean and Vice Chancellor are waiting to join. I think there is excess participation. Hello? Please stop the admissions. Our Dean and VC are to be admitted. The platform is overfull.
Yes, ma'am. I stopped it.
Good morning, Palanivel sir. VC is trying to join. Please help him get admitted.
Ma'am, sir, join, ma'am, just now.
Oh, okay. Good morning, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, thank you for
Very
joining.
good, very good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Students, please start with the seminar. Please start with the webinar.
Good morning, everybody. There was some bit of a problem here in connection. That's why there is a slight delay. Please carry on.
Thank you.
Sir, there were excess registrations and over participation.
Maybe that's
So
the reason.
we are now demarketing, sir,
Okay.
for all our resource persons and teachers
Okay. Carry on,
to
please.
join. Thank you, sir. Students, you may start.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to one and all. This is Kanke Tulsiram and doing 4th semester at Karaikal campus, Pondicherry University. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome the memo address on this memorable occasion. At the outset, I deem it is a privilege to extend a warm welcome to our Professor Gurmeet Singh sir, the esteemed Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, who is the most student-friendly leader for having accepted for our invitation and giving his consent in a very short notice. To inaugurate this international webinar, we are delighted and truly blessed by your gracious presence, sir. It's my immense pleasure to extend a welcome to our invited speaker, Mr. John Wesley, Director, Business Development from the Singapore's leading ladies fast fashion brand, BYS, who is sharing his time and experience with us today to inspire students and motivate the community. Heartily welcome, sir. I happily extend a warm welcome to our esteemed Dean, Professor K. Chandrasekhar, sir, who admits his busy schedule is with us today, encourage and support us today. We welcome, sir. We are grateful to our HOD and Center Head of Karakal Campus, Dr. S. A. Senthil Kumar, sir, for joining us today. Welcome, sir. I would like to express my hearty welcome to our facilitator and guiding mentor of this webinar, Professor Lalita Ramakrishnan, who is organized today's meet in the interest of us, the students. I passionately welcome all our teachers from the Department of Management, Karakal Campus, Dr. D.H. Malni ma'am, Dr. Bairam Anand sir, and Dr. C. Madhavaya sir for this August gathering. On behalf of the Department Management, it is a delightful moment for me to welcome everyone for today's International Executive Webinar on Managing Turbulence in International Retailing. Warm welcome to the heads of various departments and faculty and non-teaching staff. Last but not least, I welcome all my student friends from our own department and sister departments of the School of Management, our affiliated colleges and other institutions of management in the country. It has been always auspicious to start all our academic events with our most popular and musical university anthem. Let's start the event with this musical melody, our university anthem.
Please play the audio also.
Soman, audio's not audible.
Please play the audio, Soman Chakrabarti.
Someone please go to Google Meet and your mic is turned off. Turn on that, yeah. Start from the beginning.
புதுவை புதுவை புதுமையே போற்றுவோம், புதுவை பல்கலைக்கழகமே உனை வாழ்த்துவோம். வங்க கடலலை தாளாட்டும் ஞான சூரியன் உதிக்கும் இடம்.
இது எங்கள் புதுநெறி காட்டும் உலகம். என்னாலும் அறிவு தேடல் தொடரும். அறிவூற்றை பொழியும் ஆசிரியர், அதில் தினமும் நனையும் மாணவர்கள்.
இதிலன்று புதுவை பல்கலைக்கழகம். அறிவின் தாகம் தனியும் சோலை, அகில போற்றும் கல்வி சாலை. மனித வளவே என்று முயல புனித சேவை தொடருதே.
தம் தாரணம் தாரணம் தம் தானம் தாரணம் தகிட தம் தாரணம் தாரணம் தம் தானம் தாரணம். பாரதி தமிழால் நனைந்த இடம் எங்கள் பாரதிதாசன் விளைந்த நிலம். அரவிந்தர் ஆசைகள் பெற்றதுடன் அகில உலகிற்கு ஒளிவிடும் இனிய தடம்.
அறிவு சுடரொளி கண்ணி விட அன்பின் மலர் விதை நெஞ்சு எழ. யாதும் ஊரே யாவரும் கேளீர் மாண்பினை உரைக்கும் மக்களரங்கம். இதிலன்று புதுவை பல்கலைக்கழகம். அறிவின் தாகம் தனியும் சோலை, அகில போற்றும் கல்வி சாலை. மனித வளமே என்று முயல புனித சேவை தொடருதே. பல்கலைக்கழகம் என்றும் வளர்ந்திட நாமும் வழிபடுவோம். கல்வி சேவைகள் யாவும் காலமும் தொடர்ந்திட நாடும் வேண்டிடுவோம். புதுமையே புதுமையே போற்றிடும் பல்கலைக்கழகமே என்றும் வாழ்கவே 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 வாழ்கவே. புதுவை புதுவை புதுமையே போற்றுவோம்.
புதுவை பல்கலைக்கழகமே உன்னை வாழ்த்துவோம்.
புதுவை புதுவை புதுமையே போற்றுவோம்.
புதுவை பல்கலைக்கழகமே உன்னை வாழ்த்துவோம்.
Thank you so much. I now hand over the mic to my teammate, Ms. Anjana Babu, to introduce our Vice Chancellor and invite him to deliver the inaugural address for today's International Executive Webinar.
Thank you, Tulasi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our esteemed Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh. Professor Gurmeet Singh, a renowned academic administrator and an internationally reputed expert in the field of corrosion science and smart materials, began his academic career as lecturer in the Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi in 1976. All through, his career has been distinguished by successful manner in which he has contributed to the administration of University of Delhi and other public institutions while maintaining a very high level of research output in terms of quality as well as quantity. He has held the positions of Proctor from 2005 to 2010, Head of the Department from 2005 to 2017, Member of the Executive Council from 2005 to 2010, and numerous other administrative positions in University of Delhi, besides serving as Officer on Special Duty, Deshbandhu College from 1997 to 1999. He had been on high-level committees of the University Grants Commissions, Direct Benefit Transfer, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and several other public institutions. These assignments have included positions of great sensitivity and responsibility, typified by his appointment as Special Observer for the West Bengal State Assembly elections by the Election Commission of India. During 2011 to 2012, Professor Gurmeet Singh served as a chair professor at Lunghwa University, Taipei, where he was specially invited to start collaborative research. He was a visiting scientist to Hungary and Japan and has been on academic assignments to Germany, Italy, Australia, Singapore, Korea, Thailand, and Kenya. He is also currently a visiting professor at Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, Ishikawa, Japan. An inspiring teacher and mentor of research, Professor Gurmeet Singh has guided 14 MPhil and 50 PhD scholars. Several of the resulting contributions have received accolades and Best Paper awards at international and national conferences. At the time of moving to Pondicherry University, Sir was personally supervising 9 major R&D projects worth over Rs 7.5 crores. With about 150 research papers, of which majorities are in high-impact international journals, Sir is also among the most cited of the scientists in his field. An oft-decorated academician, Professor Gurmeet Singh has received, among other honors, the Meritorious Contribution Award, the Annapurna Award, membership of the Royal Society of Chemistry, London, and fellowship of CEST and the Electrochemical Society of India. We are blessed to have an academic leader like Professor Gurmeet Singh as our Vice Chancellor. His achievements as an administrator include promoting research ambience and improving facilities, establishing a peaceful climate on the campus, concern and actions taken for the career growth of both teaching and non-teaching staffs working in the university. His concern for students is exhibiting in his frequent visits to off-campuses and focusing on improving the infrastructure for academics, sports, and cultural activities. His vision is reflected in continuous improvement of the university's national and global ranking. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, to inaugurate this wonderful session. Thank you.
Sir, kindly give your inaugural address.
Thank you, Anjana, for very kind words about me. And I compliment Professor Lalitha Ramakrishnan for taking this lead in organizing this international executive webinar, which I have always been emphasizing that it has been a need of the hour, because all along in the last couple of months, I've been emphasizing that when pandemic struck, we were all in a kind of a depressed state of mind, thinking whether we will ever be able to get back to normal life, or will we ever be able to meet our academic partners to discuss furtherance of academic atmosphere. But as I've said earlier also, on many an occasion, that hats off to our IT experts that they managed everything in a very short span of time, and the whole country got connected. Even the remotest part of our country, if you think, is connected online, and we very soon got back into a near normal situation where we started all our activities online. And to continue that, we also started organizing lots of webinars, lots of academic meetings, and I take a great pleasure in stating that our university is one of the few universities which has regularly organized very meaningful webinars for our young minds during this pandemic period. And if we count the number, probably we are amongst the highest out of the list of all universities who have organized regular webinars. And this gives a real flip to the academics, even at a time when we were wondering what is going to be the future for us. In that series, a very important webinar which has been organized by Professor Lalitha Ramakrishnan and her team is on managing turbulence in international retailing. You'll please pardon me, I have a very bad throat for the last 2-3 days. So this managing turbulence in international retailing is assuming greater importance because of this pandemic. and because of the kind of difficult situation we were in, you would all know that the whole international community survives on business. The international relations, if I may say so, that international relations also would depend upon business, trade, and our relations in terms of commerce activities. And when this pandemic struck, for a while everything came to absolute standstill, and they were wondering what to do. But then, as I said, we gradually moved on from that situation onwards to near normal situation. And of course, there is a new normal now in terms of how best we are going to go ahead. But then the activities are more or less on in the, I will say, best possible ways under the circumstances. And this seminar, webinar as they call it, on managing turbulence is a very constructive step in that direction. We know that business obviously depends upon your travel, your interactions, your ideas on what is the latest that is required. And when we exchange all this, we come to a very important area in terms of commerce and management activities, which deals with the supply chain, how supply chain movement is going to go. And the moment we talk about it, it was very badly hit in pandemics. And obviously, I would say most of the companies, I'll not say most of the good companies, most of the companies suffered very heavy losses. And gradually when we started recovering and we started dwelling on how best to start this activity in terms of export import and in terms of how best to reach general public, there were a lot of discussions, and then I think our experts came out with good paper in this direction, that how best we can manage, and the world overall did start the economic and commerce activities all over the world. And then in between a term you would have come across, I'm sure those are in the management area would certainly bear me out, that from supply chain we move to the rapid supply chain or slow supply chain or items of all kinds, particularly in pharmaceutical area. And then we also came across a term called green supply chain management. Now this pandemic, as I said, had hit, and it had really caused a great turbulence all over the world. I mean, these are the lessons we learn, and they are enabler to humankind in terms of facing these challenges, and from here to move on further. And these challenges are not one time. I mean, we constantly face real challenges. Again, come 4 or 5 days back, you would have all read that a huge ship got stuck in Suez Canal. And that has led to something like 60 vessels are getting accumulated on both sides of the canal. And what a tremendous effect it has had on the supply movement. And now they are thinking of alternative routes, whether those with perishable goods can be immediately attended to. And experts are working on an alternative route for these ships which have got stuck there because of the traffic which is there in the last 4 or 5 days, whether we can have an alternative route through Cape of Good Hope. There are pluses and minuses, but there people have started working on it. So how best we manage such turbulences which come in our way is a mind-boggling exercise which management experts in the field of economics, experts in the field of commerce have to jointly sit together and discuss. So this is one step in that direction where we say how best we can manage turbulence because of the current situation in international retailing. I'm sure there are going to be a number of experts. It is very obvious from the number of participants who have joined in, over 150, which is a very creditable scenario. Invariably on a weekend when people are in a mood to have a kind of holiday, that many joining in speaks in volumes about the importance of these people which people have in their minds. And the young ones, the postgraduate students and researchers who have joined in here, I'm sure are ready to listen to many experts who will be giving you ideas. Of course, at the end of this webinar, when you have the question answers, there will be many who will come in. But I am particularly grateful to Mr. John Wesley, who has joined us. He's the Director of Business Development at one of the institutes in Singapore. He spared his time for discussing this, which I'm sure is going to be a wonderful idea giver to all the youngsters who are working in these areas. They will get good ideas from Mr. John Wesley's discourse, lecture. And I would also like to compliment our Dean, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, who is always a great support to all our departments. And not only support, he makes sure that he's there attending all these programs, all through. He's here, and I really appreciate this. Then our young head of the department, Dr. Senthil, who also, along with his young bunch of students, would have given a great support to Professor Lalita Ramakrishnan, whom I have always maintained that whether she was here in our main campus or now she's serving Karaikal, she's one of those who would not sit quietly and prepare for her lessons and go for lectures. She's always thinking something out of the box, that what best way we can motivate our young students, we can give ideas to our researchers, how best they can develop their research problems. And I have always all along maintained that if somebody has to really do very well, one has to attend to webinars, because it is in these webinars, previously we were calling them seminars, through these meetings that people get good ideas and they interact with the experts, best experts in their own areas. Today also you will find at the end probably there will be a lot of questions for Mr. Wesley, because the topic he's chosen is the one which is of a great relevance. And I would urge Mr. Wesley to answer all their questions, if time permits, of course. But if time is a constraint, then I'm sure our youngsters would bother Mr. Wesley through emails and WhatsApp and whatever electronic media they can use, and they'll be able to take help from him. I'm grateful, Mr. Wesley, grateful to you for sparing your valuable time for this webinar. I'm sure it's going to be a rich academic experience for everyone. And towards the end, my heartiest congratulations, compliments and appreciation for Professor Lalita Ramakrishnan. As I said, she's a very dynamic professor, never sits, never relaxes, she's always on the move, and this is a step in that direction. Then Professor K. Chandrasekhar Rao, always motivating the entire team that he has under him, all departments in fact. And then Dr. Senthil Kumar, whenever I've gone to Karaikal and whenever I met him, any suggestion that I gave, he immediately agrees to that, and he not only agrees, he puts it in practice straight away. So this is the kind of enthusiasm we have, and with such a good active team, I would urge all my students who are attending to take a leap out of this and follow this. You will find then, as we say, if you follow all this, for you, moon will not be the limit. You can go beyond. So thank you so very much. I wish you all the very best and wish the webinar a grand success. Once again, towards the end, an advice to all my young friends, students, that kindly attend to this in a very serious, attentive manner so that you get the best benefit out of this. Thank you so very much, and please carry on. God bless all of us. Carry on, please.
Thank you, sir. Students, please take over.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Arjuna Babu. I now request our Dean, Professor K. Chandrasekhar Rao, sir, to speak a few words on this. Atesh. Sir, please.
Thank you. I'm very happy to join this webinar. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very clear.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Especially, it's a timely webinar when not only the business is in turbulence, even the business schools are in turbulence. Especially, this is a season for us for placements. Unfortunately, this year it is not taking up. Maybe this is an occasion we are making our students get ready and understand how the executives and the company CEOs are forecasting the future and what is in store for future in this turbulence environment and what skills are required in order to cope up with the new requirements of the business. Especially the business also has become completely digitalized now, and transactions have become digitalized, and the activities are now more of AI based. And naturally, before we get into the new normal, I think the students also require lots of skills. Maybe these talks, executive talks by Madam Lalita Ramakrishnan being arranging, and on the other side, the CIA also has come back. In the morning, we have a meeting with that. They are also coming out with the series of lectures from the executives. We are giving titles like executive talks, more specifically to provide inputs on what is likely to be on store for these school students. And in that context, I think this lecture is a good beginning, and I hope the great giant who is on this garment industry and who has been on the lookout for last 2 decades is on the good business from Singapore. If he talks to them, the entire East Asia or South Asian business environment will be now learned by our students and understand, and then they can also pick up the trends in the business, especially after this COVID. I think in this context, this is very timely topic, very timely webinar, and I hope it makes a beginning. That is, as a Dean School of Management, I wish this particular event to make a beginning, to infuse lots of ideas in the minds of our students and provide them all the required inputs. It will definitely provide lots of required inputs for their understanding about the post-COVID business environment and the turbulence we are passing through today, and what is likely to emerge out to be in the light of lots of efforts taken by the governments, respective governments, and the lots of efforts being taken by the associations, industry associations, and the entire world economy. So naturally, tomorrow's my students are the global citizens. They have to face the global developments and global business environment. And naturally, this type of series of lectures will, especially with the international personalities, will provide a great opportunity for us, for the teachers also to learn things and improve upon and reach the class with the latest ideas from the executives. With this a few words, I formally welcome the guests to interact with our students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to invite our HOD and Center Head of Karakal Campus, Professor S.A. Senthil Kumar, sir, to introduce our department. Sir, please.
Thank you. The Honorable Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Gurmeet Singh, sir. Most respected Dean School of Management, Professor K. Chandrasekhar Rao, sir. Respected resource person of today's webinar, Mr. John Wesley, sir. Learned faculty members, respected facilitator of this seminar, Dr. Lalita Ramakrishnan, ma'am, and my dear participants. A very warm good morning to all. I welcome you all to the International Executive Webinar on Managing Turbulence in International Retailing. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce about the department. The Department of Management was started at Karakal campus in the academic year 2009-10. The department offers MBA in Insurance Management and PhD in Management. The MBA program in Insurance Management was initiated by Pondicherry University to ascertaining the need of sectoral MBA program. The department facilitates students to appear professional certificate examinations related to insurance sector conducted by IRDAI, Insurance Institute of India, Mumbai, and Chartered Insurance Institute, London. The leading companies like IFCO Tokyo General Insurance Company, Tata AIG, Bharati AXA, and other leading general insurance companies and leading insurance verticals visits the department for final placement and internship. The department has achieving 100% students placement in the past 5 years. This year, we have already placed 60% of our final year students. With the support of our Vice Chancellor and Dean, School of Management, the department has proposed to offer General MBA program in self-financing mode from the academic year 21-22, from the next academic year. I take this opportunity to thank both our Vice Chancellor Sir and Dean Sir for providing the support and permission to start General MBA program in Karaikal campus. And both of them are providing a special care to Karaikal campus. I thank once again for both of them. I thank the organizer for providing me this opportunity. Thank you, Anand. Over to the facilitator, please.
Thank you, sir. I now call upon our teacher, Professor Lalita Ramakrishnan, who is the brain behind this webinar and the series that shall continue to address us. Madam, please.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh, Revered Dean of School of Management, Professor K. Chandrasekhar Rao, my dear colleague, Dr. S.A. Sendil Kumar, teaching fraternity, young scholars, executives from the industry, resource person of today's webinar, Mr. John Wesley, Director Business Development from BIC, Women's Apparel Industry, Singapore, and all cohorts who have joined this international event. A very good morning to all of you. Indeed, all this started at a classroom, at an online class where our students were asking if we were to work offline, you would have taken us to several industries and given us exposure. How do we get exposure in this lockdown period? And then the idea struck that we can as well have a virtual platform where everyone can contribute for a beautiful gathering like this and also gain intellectual inputs. I'm really surprised to tell you that I know students across different places. We have a student from a remote village called Gorgi in Bihar to a remote village called Ramapuram in Andhra Pradesh, and villages at Kerala to Orissa, who are all there in the organizing committee team, both working at the back end and front end. And organizing a webinar of this kind requires a lot of teamwork, and that is why our guru, management guru, said that someone who is not able to work in the team can never be a successful executive. So this is a beautiful platform of teamwork where our students are working both at a front end and back end. Someone is registering participants, someone is issuing e-certificates, someone is giving the spotlights, someone is playing the university's anthem, someone is inviting our resource person and our vice chancellor, and someone is delivering the vote of thanks. Everything is done by students. That is the beauty of this webinar. And we are all just enjoying their participation and facilitating. So that is the beauty. And our management guru, Peter F. Drucker, said that trees die from top. Trees also blossom up from top. So when we have a beautiful leadership, when we have a wonderful leadership, then any institution can flourish. I was very blessed to have, we are all blessed to have a vice chancellor like Professor Gurmeet Singh, who motivates us, who is with the students. I think he's the only vice chancellor I've seen in my career enjoying to have lunch and breakfast in the student mess along with students. The vice chancellor who has traveled so much to remote peripheral area campuses like Karaikal and Andaman, always motivating and standing behind us. Sir, you are the true guiding spirit for all of us to conduct any kind of academic event, research activity, or teaching. We are with the university, we are with the students, and I think it is not a virtue. Your leadership matters a lot in motivating us. Thank you so much for always encouraging us. And Mr. John Wesley, our resource person of today. When I spoke to him for the first time over phone, it was as if I'm sitting next to him on a sofa and discussing with a family member. He readily accepted, within a minute of my asking to deliver a talk on international retailing for our students. He readily accepted, and in the dry runs, in which our student organizing committee was participating with him yesterday, he was so nice that he invited our student team for an industrial visit to Singapore, that he would host the entire team at Singapore. That is his student friendliness. Thank you so much. And this platform, the registration as of now has touched 257, which has crossed our platform of 250. In fact, we had to discourage 7 of our students to join in the YouTube live stream rather than the Google Suite platform. So that is the oversubscription that has been taken place for this webinar. We have participants from 22 states in India, right from Uttarakhand to Andaman Nicobar Islands, all the east, north, south, and west. We also have participants from Oman, Bahrain, South Africa, USA, and Malaysia in this platform. Also from Singapore, who are some of our alumni have joined from Singapore too. And we have industry executives who have joined this platform from about 8 corporates. And that is the level of participation. I'm sure, students, the effort of yours will never go waste. And you're all going to fly the flag of Pondicherry University high in the skies and take our reputation to very high levels in the national and international platforms. Thank you all for your efforts. And thank you for blessing us, sir, our Honorable Vice Chancellor and our Dean. Thank you so much. Over to students, please.
Thank you, ma'am. I now hand over the mic to my teammate, Miss Subhadra Selvi, to introduce our invited resource person of the day.
Yes, Tulasi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Mr. John Wesley, Director, Business Development by Sea, Singapore's leading ladies fast fashion brand with its presence in 10 countries. He is our invited speaker of today, who is going to share his thoughts about the fashion industry and its turbulence during the pandemic. Mr. John Wesley specializes in fashion industry with a decade of combined experience in brand franchising, fashion retailing, omnichannel retailing, and brand marketing, negotiating with key partners for setting up the brand franchise stores internationally, and has great affinity towards technology. Currently, he is a Director of Business Development at BIC, with a corporate office at Singapore, and being responsible for planning, organizing, and directing the brand's business development activities and strategies that promote the growth of the brand by attracting new business relationships and expansion of existing business relationships globally. Mr. John Wesley is a very successful Director of Business Development and has proved himself by increasing and achieving the sales revenue for the brand globally, and with the screaming potential business deals by analyzing market strategies, deal requirements, potential and financials, evaluating options, resolving internal priorities, and recommending strategies for market penetration. Prior to this, he was an information technology consultant, monitoring projects, IT budgeting, fixing priorities, standards, procedures, and improving overall IT performance of the company. Today, he will enlighten us on the topic managing turbulence in international retailing, and will focus on the trends in fashion industry, apparel merchandising, recent changes and adoption of technology in the fashion industry. He will share his views on how to manage the turbulence during crisis due to the COVID pandemic. Please, sir, I request you to enlighten us with your experience and knowledge of international apparel retailing. We are eager to get inspired. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. It's such a joy to see you all. And firstly, I would like to thank Professor Gurmeet Singh, Dean Rao Chandrasekhar, Professor S.A. Sendil Kumar, and Lalita Ramakrishnan, Madam, for giving me this opportunity to meet you all. And firstly, I would like to thank you all. As a teaching fraternity, I really respect the teaching fraternity for being the light to guide the students into the right path. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. So let me just give a small introduction about what I do and what is our brand about. So here I work here as a director in business development for this brand called Bicey in Singapore. It's the brand has been here in Singapore for more than 2 decades. So basically, ours is fast fashion. So now I think you would be knowing a lot of brands which are into fast fashion. So the leader among the fast fashion is Zara, which belongs to the Inditex group. They are the pioneers in this industry. So today's topic is more about the turbulence in the retail industry and how to overcome it. So what happened is during 2020, retail industry is already in the tip-off point. So what we were facing was the dominance, and it was like a fight for dominance between the online and offline. So basically, from the start, it was a brick and mortar shop. The retail started as a brick and mortar shop, and what has evolved today is more of a digital world where you can just sit inside the house and you can do whatever you want. You can buy, and there's like a next day delivery, and now it has evolved into next hour, 2 hours delivery kind of thing. So that is the advancements that we have actually overcome. So I just prepared a small presentation, and it will just go through the evolvement of retail from where it started, where are we currently, and what are we facing right now, and what are the things that can be done to overcome the challenges. So yeah, let me just share the screen with you. Just give me a second. Okay, so what we see here is the journey of retailing. I just want to take you through what has been the retail journey from where we started and where we are right now. So I think many of you would be aware of moms and pop stores, which actually, what happened is when the people start settling in certain areas, so to fulfill the requirements and put like any buying or something, they started setting up this mom and pop stores. It was called as a mom and pop stores. It was started in the year 1700s to 1800s, and it was more of a family-run business. And this is how it started actually. And then it actually evolved into departmental stores from the 1800s to 1900s. And if I'm to name a few, it would be the Robinsons and Marks and Spencers, which are actually one of the few famous departmental stores. After the evolvement of departmental stores, what happened is they wanted people started looking for a change. They wanted one place where they can go in and experience the brand, and that's where the starting of shopping malls. So it evolved in the year 1950s, and it started from here. And then even now, I am sure that everybody is would like to go down to the shopping malls on the weekends to enjoy themselves. And what happened is in the 1990s is the start of e-commerce. I'm sure everybody would be knowing about Amazon, the market pioneer in terms of e-commerce. And what evolved as of now is social media. So social media, what started is it was more of an interaction for people from different locations to connect with friends, to interact with friends. And what started like that evolved into business, where people started to do live telecasting, live product show to sell their products. And this has been the journey of retailing. So currently, if you see, it's not just one location where you just sit down and just sell the products. Let it be any locations, or let it be even your house. If you have a product you want to sell, you can just go live and you can just start selling. So such is the evolvement of retailing right now. So firstly, what I want to underline is, first, location is not a barrier. Country is not a barrier. So today, what we are seeing right now is a business without borders. So that is something the retail has evolved. So last time it used to be what is made in India will be mostly sold in India. But now what is happening is it is going outside, and through last time it was through like, okay, shipment, all those things. But now a person sitting in every nook and corner of the world can just buy, just 2-3 clicks they can buy, and maybe in a few days time it gets delivered. So such is the evolvement of retail over the period of time. So actually, I just want to share this small video about how the evolvement of retail has actually evolved. I can just take a look at this video. It will show how the habits and trends of the customers have evolved alongside the retail industry. How many of you can relate that today everybody has a time constraint, going out, the traffic, all those things? Last time it used to be the word of mouth. If somebody likes it, he will share it with his friend. But now there's a lot of channels where you can like buy the product. Last time it was directly meeting the people. Now it's like the meeting is actually coming down. Customization of products. Environmental friendly. Last time a customer goes down to the store particularly to buy from that store. He just buys, he just goes back. But now if you see, he goes down to the mall, shops and cinemas, everybody parks there because one is convenience. So it has become a cluster of shops inside one building. And what has happened, like all the high-end streets, high street shops had to like suffer. They had to evolve themselves or end being closed up. So what the video shows is if I don't evolve, it's going to be really hard. So upskilling is required, and this is where you see the shop owner. You see how he has evolved and like trying to take his business online and move over from his location. Okay, so this presentation would have given the idea of where the retail started and where we are currently as of now. So just to give you a small idea, last time when the brands used to run the business, they take, okay, for example, if you are talking about fashion, they take a product, they keep it in the store, and somebody comes in, they find the product, they buy it. Okay, now the question rises, does the customer buy because he likes it or is it there? It's a mix of two last time. So there's okay, because maybe he likes it is one, the pricing is there is second, and then he's already there and he might be finding it a hindrance to move around to get his respective product, his requested product. So that was the retail habit as of 1990s, 2000, early 2000s. But what has actually evolved right now, the changing habits and the trends of the customer. So what as a brand we should learn is, it's not that the products we design for the customer, but to understand what is the customer's requirement so that we can give the products that is actually that can sell. Okay, so what I mean by that is the underlining word is customization. So that is kind of an important thing that has to be learned actually. So it's like not that I want to do this product and I want to sell, is that what I want, why is it that I want to do this product, and who is my target market, and how can I satisfy my customer by this product. So that is something that we have to like understand of today's scenario. I'll go to the next slide. Okay, so okay, I'll just make it a thing like this presentation would be a small thing, and I wanted more of an interactive session because I'm open to hear your questions. I'm open to answer your questions to the best of my knowledge. So this after this presentation, I'll be like I would really sit down to like hear from you, because I would just like to understand it is more of a knowledge sharing platform, and it's not a one-way communication. It has to be both sides. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that we all are in the same boat. So where we are looking outside, everywhere it's like the business is suffering. So due to the COVID-19, which started in around December 2019, and now we are in the phase kind of like where we have like overcome the COVID-19 and we are trying to like get back our lost foot. So things have been really difficult. But this is where I would like to underline the word challenges bring opportunities. So why do I say that? So if you see that this is not the first time the world is facing a pandemic. The world has been through several pandemics, and to name a few, the last time the pandemic, last time we had was the SARS, SARS, the SARS virus, which actually affected the Southeast Asia market. So the businesses were affected, the retail was affected. And then if you see, but business has evolved over the period of time. So the key thing that we need to understand is it's always the fight, the survival of the fittest. So how do we stay fit is how do we evolve ourselves? How do we learn? How do we adapt to changes? And how do we get into the changes and then evolve accordingly? So that is something that we need to understand. And because it's never because I like to just bring a small thing. During my childhood days, my mom used to say, because I was a bit naughty. I guess everybody can relate to that. So my mom used to say, just study this time. Just finish your 10th standard. Just finish your 12th standard. After that, you can relax. Then I was like, okay, just 12th standard. Then maybe I can just go on. I can, after the college, maybe I can relax. So once I entered the college, my mom was like, no. Just finish the college. Just 4 years. After that, you can relax. You can just get a job. You can get settled in life. So after that, I was like, okay, just 4 years. Then I just finished my studies. Then I was like, okay, what is it now I'm looking at? Where am I? What is my direction? So that's where then I finished my master's also in business administration. So once I finished that, I got a job offer and I joined this company. And then that is where I actually understood studying is not just a student's life. It is a part of everybody's life. And that is where we need to keep studying to keep updating ourselves. So I'm sure that it's just a small thing that I hope you can like relate to it. And it's a continuous race where we need to keep on updating ourselves, reskilling ourselves, and to make sure that we are not outdated. That is the key mantra for today's world. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so what are the challenges that we are facing during this period of time? Of course, the one is managing inventory fluctuations in demand. So if you see, before the pandemic, the supply line, everything was intact. Everything was intact. Everything was going as per normal. But what happened is, in Singapore, we faced a shutdown. The shutdown was for 2 months. We got the stock, everything was ready, we were selling, everything was looking normal. Then suddenly the pandemic came in. Then it was like haywire. We were like, okay, what are we supposed to do now? We already got an inventory. Some inventory is being manufactured, some inventory is on the way, and some inventory is on the warehouse. What am I supposed to do with this? Because the government announced the shutdown. So what is my situation right now? I'm locked with my inventory. I'm not able to sell. My shops are closed down and my offices are closed down. So I'm having an inventory glut. So how do I manage with this inventory? So this is where diversification channels are required. If we are to like develop this digital channels, the digital omni, okay, what we call is as omni retailing. I'm sure pretty well that everybody would you would be knowing this omni channel retailing. So it's where you just don't depend on one channel where it's just the brick and mortar, but you also depend on multiple channels of sales. So it started with that. So inventory management for retail is the key thing. If inventory is not being managed properly, it's going to be really difficult in continuing the business. Because the business continuity depends on inventory. Why is it? Because that comes to the second point where the managing the business requires liquidity. And if the inventory is not sold, or if it is kept a long time, which we call the shelf life, we are actually losing money. So the cash is actually on the inventory, and if we don't quickly turn it out, we are actually sitting on a pile of cash without even selling it off. So that is the thing. And after this comes the other problem is manpower. So during this period of time, if you see, the retail industry is one of the leading industry where it employs a lot of manpower, because you need, be it the fashion industry, be it the F&B industry, be it whatever retail it is, it's merchandising, be it sportswear, or there's a lot of retailing sidelines. But the thing is, it is manpower intensive industry. So here, the problem here is during this period of time, especially the front end staff has to be motivated. During this period of time when if the front end staff are not motivated, it results in the loss of sales. Already your sales are depleting. People are not coming down to your store. There's this safety issue. There's a safe distancing. There's a lot of government guidelines. So how all this happens, and then your staffs are like, what am I going to do? So that comes the manpower, and keeping them motivated is another issue. So next comes the managing the supply line and having contingency plans. Okay, there's a bigger definition to this, because this is the blood of the company, the supply chain. And so why do I say that? Okay, let's take one example. So I believe that you would be aware of the feud between China and US. If you see, a lot of businesses in US have actually invested heavily in China, and a lot of manufacturing, literally a lot of manufacturing is being done in China. So China is one of the leading manufacturer of apparels. And now, so what happens is, when there is an issue coming out between countries, the supply chain gets hit. So that is one of the scenarios that we are looking at. So second scenario is what we are currently experiencing is the pandemic. So the pandemic has actually disrupted the supply chain. Why? Because it originated in the country where it is being manufacturing. The manufacturing is taking place. So how do I get my supplies on time to my stores? So that is another issue. So what is the contingency plan that we are looking at? So this is where we have to be very have to pay a bit more attention into it. So the attention is, there's always a company shouldn't always invest in one supply chain. There has to be diversification of supply chain. 2 years back, I was in India, in Tirupur, to scout for some alternate supply chains. And luckily, we were actually happy that there were some supply chains that was actually, and the reason why we were doing this is, we know there's always good to have some supply backup chains. So what you do is like, okay, so countries like India now, they have some local issues, the border issues, clearing up all those things. So what happens to my business when this kind of political situations comes up? It's not just the pandemic that we are looking at, but it's also political situations. So the world is now without borders for business. The business doesn't have border. The business doesn't have any restriction within the location. So this is a global business community that we are looking at, but everything comes to the challenge where we see political challenge, rules and regulations, and there's this trade barriers where we call this different set of rules, trading rules for different countries, taxes, all this kicks in. So these are things that we have to like take in account and to make sure that it doesn't get affected. So that is one of the things. So next comes another important point. All these things are in line, but who are we selling to? So that is something we need to analyze. So in today's world, we need to first understand who are our customers. Are we really going and selling out to the customers, or hearing out to the customers, or are we just selling for just for the sake of making money? So the key thing that we have to make sure is, are our customers happy with the product quality, and how are we engaging with the customers? So these are the key things. If these things are taken care, I'm sure the industry would be we can reach new heights with expansion plans. And the second thing that will come is to expand the brand without any borders to the next new in terms of franchising to the newer borders, new locations, and also going online and making it more of a global brand. So I'll just go to the next slide. So how do we tackle the turbulence? Okay, so this is where we need to first analyze what is our brand strategy, what is a brand direction. Firstly, we need to see segmentation. Okay, so in today's world, why I mentioned, like, okay, in today's world, there is nothing like, okay, I'm a business guy, I'm a management guy, I'm so and so guy, but I don't want to get into IT. IT is not my cup of tea. But in today's world, can you see something which is not digitized or which doesn't have an impact on the IT world? So IT is everywhere. So in terms of, like, let's say for a business, in retail business, how does it help us? So this is where data analytics play a role. So what is data analytics? What is the thing that is required here? Firstly, do we understand what is our customers' requirements? Are we really like offering? Okay, for example, let's say I have a red shirt. I want to sell it to my customer. So the thing is, I need to understand what is the things that is what month, for example, is the red color selling? What are the sizes that it sells? And who are the customers who actually buy this shirt? For example, in Singapore, we have this festival called the Chinese New Year. So it is in the month of Jan, and not surprisingly, this is kind of like a ritual here. People buy a lot of red shirts. Why? Because red is an auspicious color. So if I don't stock up red during this period of time, I'm losing my sales. So that's one. It's just a small example. There's a lot of examples with which you can do the data, like analyze the data. Because why I'm underlining this point is, in today's world, data is everything. And where do you get the data? The data is everywhere. Let's say if we have a brand website. So the thing is, for example, I have a website, and I open a website, I have a product to sell, and I see that over the period of time, let's say 1 month, I analyze the website. I see that people are coming, people are seeing the products, but does it convert to sales? That's my question mark. So if it's not converting to sales, what is it that stops them from doing this? So this is where data plays a role. It shows me, for example, the customer has clicked on this product this much number of times. Has he gone to the next step of converting it to sales? Or what actually stopped him? So is it the pricing, or is it the sizing, or is it that the customer had a change of mind? So there's a lot of things that has to be analyzed by the brand, and then this is where it has to be like effectively communicated. So that brings out to the second point in segmentation, which is pointed communication. So for example, we are a diverse group of people. Everybody has their own taste. Everybody has we are people of different races, different colors, different cultures, different things. We are diverse. But the thing is, at the end of the day, how do we communicate to our customers in their right language? So for example, as a global brand, we are communicating with, let's say, the Southeast Asia. So can we put all these customers under one group? Of course, no. Why? Because Southeast Asia has many countries like Cambodia, Myanmar, there's this Laos, then there's this Indonesia, Malaysia. Are these people related in terms of culture? No, everybody has diverse set of things. So the thing is, we have to be pointed in our communication. So we need to understand, like, what is the peak seasons, what is the things, and so this is where data plays a key role. Every country has their own set of styles, has their own kind of culture, all those things, and this is where IT comes into play. It gets you all this data. It puts you all this data for you to churn out what you require to push out the sales. So this is something that has to be like clearly understood. So the next comes positioning. So as a brand, we in the retail industry, positioning of the brand is very important. So let me just underline our brand story actually. So like over the period of time, we started as a mid-segment brand. So our average pricing started from 39 Singapore dollars to 79, 89 Singapore dollars. So where does it stand? Fast fashion, once upon a time, was kind of luxury. So it was like during those period of 1990s, Western wear was considered to be something that is only for a group of people, but it's not the truth. So that's where, as time evolved, it became affordable. It became mass. It became as a mass retailing one. So all these things actually like positions the brand. So where do we position ourselves, and how do the customers perceive the brand? So this is very important in terms. So this would be coming more on the marketing side as to how to position the brand, how convenient is one, and when in terms of online retailing, if the customer goes into the website, how convenient, how seamless is his journey from the first click to converting the sales. So these are things. And in today's world, there's another thing that is coming up which is very critical. So that one is, how friendly are you with the environment? So a lot of younger generation, and I'm actually happy that the younger generation is aware of the current situation where we are heading to, and a lot of brands are actually working on a lot of environmental friendly designs, clothings actually. So these are the things that company, the branding has to work upon, because at the end of the day, a business is not just to like drive up the profits. It is how, as an ecosystem, we can benefit each other as we go along the journey. So that is the thing. So in terms of value added service, the third point. So for example, a customer comes into a shop and he goes in and like, okay, he just wants to buy. What is the service? So today we call the front end staff as brand ambassadors. So why do we call them as brand ambassadors? Because these people represent the brand, and it is very, very critical to make sure that customers who comes in are taken care of, and they are like made sure what is their requirements are actually heard upon, and then the company has to like or has to like make sure that their requirements are met. And this is how you make a happy customer and a returning customer. So I'll just go to the next one. Operating formats. So we are all well aware of the things in the current retailing formats. What do? Okay, there's a brick and mortar. I just go to a mall. Let's say I go to one of the biggest mall, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy with the mall. I get a prime location. So there was a research that has been done. They say, okay, how many retailers prefer getting a prime location? And nearly 60%, everybody wants a prime location. I think everybody would agree to that. So why? Because the frontage is there, a lot of people, the traffic is there, and then the problem that comes out of it is everybody is fighting for the prime location, that the rental rates keep skyrocketing. So what happens after that? Is the retail able to cope up with the skyrocketing rental, and are we able to like churn out the turnover for that? So that is something that has to come in. So this is where the multiple channels of sales has to come in. A business, if it just is trying to be just on the brick and mortar, is obsolete. The idea is obsolete, and the business is sure not going to expand anywhere, but is just going to stay put there. So it has to venture into different channels. So different channels, as in today, all the social medias has become a boon, actually, I should say. A lot of influencers are there. The influencers, the word is rightly coined, the influencer. Why? Because they come out with a product, and then they talk about the product and how it has improved their lifestyle, and how it has like helped them to like whatever they wanted to be. It has actually changed their lifestyle. So that is something. So these are something, the formats that the retail industry has to look upon. If they are merely into brick and mortar, it's going to be really difficult. So in the international retailing format, franchising of brands has been mostly for brick and mortar. Last time when we had to like expand into the international scenario, okay, so we just go, we find the franchisee, we see the where we can like align our business interest, and we can see how we can like develop the business, what is the direction, and is something that we are both on the same boat. And then we just go and establish our store in one of the leading malls, getting a prime location. But now, if you just go and get a prime location, yes, everything is fine, you're selling, but are you expanding the brand beyond that location, or you're just curtailing yourself within that location? So in today's scenario, pandemic, let's talk about the pandemic now. So are people going down into the malls? That is one question. So there's a lot of things, things that has raised up. Now people are afraid to go out, that is one. Second, people are working from home. So there's a question like, okay, last time I used to go down to the office, I used to go down to the college, I used to work. So I need to wear something new then and there, so that I don't keep on repeating myself. But now people are working from home. So it's like, what is the need for me to wear something in terms of like making myself presentable? If I'm not in office, I'm in home, I can wear my attire, home attire, sleepwear or something. So this is something that is actually posing a challenge to the retail industry. So how do we like work this way out? So this is where, if the brand has invested in digital medias, if the brand has invested in the online sector, in more of omnichannel retailing, this could have been avoided. The scenario that right now we are facing, we could have been avoided to a certain percentage. So these are the operating formats that we are looking at. So the next is business model. Okay. Last, what is the retail? The traditional retail is, I have this, you come, buy, sell. The once you sell it, class, it's finished. I'm done with it. I make my money, I make my profit, and I'm done with it. I already make my sales, so I'm able to hit my target, and I'm done. But now the business is actually quite evolving. Retail is not just used to be like, okay, I come, I just buy and go. No, it's not like that now. So there is the subscription model, there is this hiring model, and there is this flash sales model. Each model has its own set of customers who are really into it. So I should say about like the subscription model. What happens in the subscription model is, people just subscribe to a brand, and they are like, okay, every month they pay a fees, minimal fees, or it is on an annual basis. So why do they go for this? It is more of retaining your customers within yourselves, and then your every cloth they try upon. For, let's say, okay, there's a set of customers who say, okay, I'm a busy person, I'm a party person, or I'm a busy person who has to go out every day, and I cannot afford to keep buying all those things. So that's where the subscription model and the hiring model comes in. Subscription model is like, you go, and then like, okay, every month they will give you like, okay, you can buy 5 pieces, okay, and then they'll give you at a very minimal cost. So it's like, you subscribe, you will be the first person, if there's any new arrivals, you will be the first person to get informed, and then you buy, and then you'll be getting special discounts. So this is the advantage of subscription model. The next one is the hiring model. So what is it? It's more of I would call it as a rental model. So it's like this. I'm a person, it's like I want to like go out to certain areas, so let's say a marriage function or some family functions. So everybody wants to like dress themselves up and to like make themselves presentable in a marriage, or be it whatever it is. So to make it more affordable, so what happens is, I just go and like rent it out. I no need to pay the full price. I maybe rent it out for a day. I just I just rent it for today. After the event, I just give it out. So what happens is, I have the like the comfort of sitting at my home. It gets delivered to my home. It's clean. It's been cleaned. It's been dried, dry washed, everything. So there's no issues on the safety side. So on the health issues, all these things are very clear. So they just sit out in the home. It is being delivered to their house. they wear it, and they arrange for a pickup, and they just pay for that alone. That's it. So this has been like the convenience. So it is more of the convenience for the customer. So it is more of you knocking on the doorsteps, or the retailers knocking on the doorsteps of the customers, rather than waiting for the customers to come and knock at your door to do the sales. So this is something that has evolved over the period of time. So the next is the flash sales model. So what happens is, I'm a big example. So I'm a person, or I believe that a lot of people can relate, who doesn't want a good sales. So for example, if there's something like $100 and then they are like selling it at 50% off, I would like to try my hand on that. So there are some websites and there are things which actually a lot of retailers are keen. Why? This helps to clear the inventory. So they come out with flash sales and to pump it out, because now a lot of inventory gets pumped up. Then how do you really clear the inventory? And this is only through certain areas where you can just go online on these select websites. There are a few websites like a VIP shop in China. So they are the pioneers in this part. So it's like every time you go, there's some brands, be it the low-level brands or be it the high-level brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton. There's a lot of brands actually. So they are like, everything is on flash sales. So people are actually excited, and then they wait for the sales to come in. They go and click it right away. So these are some of the models that has evolved over the period of time. So what happened is, like, if you see a majority of these business models, it is the underlining word is this: giving the comfort to the customer. So I just sit at my home. I'm expanding my business from just being a brick and mortar to make sure that I satisfy my customer at the doorstep without them wasting their time in today's busy world to come over and to do the sales. So I'm doing it directly, and all this business models, the subscription model, hiring model, and flash sales model, if you see, has been designed in such a way that to retain the customers over a period of time. So why do I say like retaining the customers? In today's world, retaining customers has become a mammoth task. Why? Because there has been a research that has been done on a group of customers. So people above 40 and 50 years are said to be more brand loyal. So they like a brand, they go for it. And people between the age of 13 to 40 are kind of like wobbly brand, wobbly kind of, they have a brand affinity. At the same time, it is more towards kind of like they want to try new. But in today's, the younger generation, especially the people below 20s, it is not just it's the brand affinities is kind of very difficult. So to retain these kind of customers is getting challenging. So these are the models that can help to like retain this set of customers actually. So that talks about the strategy and how do we do this front-end implementation on this strategy. So there are four main things that I've actually touched upon. One is customer experience, merchandising, loyalty programs, pricing, and post solutions. So let's get into the customer experience. So I believe that in today's, a lot of brands actually have their own CRM systems, customer relationship management systems. So the very point or the very thing that is they use this customer relationship CRM systems is to make sure that these customers are being engaged. So I use the word engaged because it is very key to the retail industry, engaging with the customers. It's if you are just waiting for a passerby customer or a drop-in customer, how do you retain this customer? How do you engage with this customer? How do you journey along with the customer to ensure that they stay loyal to the brand? So that is something that has to be tapped upon. So this is so for once upon a time, what the retailing is used to do is, for example, I'm a member of so and so. Let's say a brand ABC. So I go into the store and I'm a customer for them. They'll give you right away, okay, I do a purchase. Then like, okay, sir, would you like to be a member of this brand ABC? I say yes. Then they'll get, okay, I give you this membership. So they'll say, this membership is for a lifetime. So I go there every day, every month, whenever I want to go into the shop. I'm happy that I'm a customer. I can get a so and so percentage. But in today's world, things have evolved. It's more of point-based systems. So why do I say point-based systems? For example, I buy today online, offline or online. I go down, I buy. Let's say I buy for $100. I get 100 points. Do I get to use it right away? No, I get to use it next time I buy. So which means that you keep retaining points, and then you use it for the next time to offset it against your sales, against what you buy. So you are trying to retain your customers. That is one. But does this guarantee the customer loyalty or to make sure that the customer comes back? No. The experience that the customer gets from the brand is not just about the point system or the loyalty points alone, but it has to do with the brand experience. The customers of today's are actually searching for brand experience. What can this brand do to me or give me the experience? What experience can it give it to me? What is the lifestyle that it can actually give it to me? So these are something that the customers are looking upon. So for example, if in today's, there has been a shift towards smart mirrors. So what is a smart mirror? I go to a shop, I go in and stand in front of the shop. The mirror will show what are the products that is there. They'll show multiple products. I can just choose among the products. I stand in front, it will show me how would I look in actually wearing that without me having the inconvenience to go into the changing room and to go and change all those things. That's kind of a hassle. So what happens is this smart mirror, it actually changes my whatever attire I want. I just choose that. It will show me this is how you will look after you wear this attire, and then it will suggest me based on my size and weight. This is something, the size that it would be more fit. It would be fit for you. So that is. So these are things. So there are, because we in our journey, retail journey, we used to think, does this really help? Does this really help? Or we already have people. We who are called the style ambassadors. So we are already equipped them with the knowledge of what is our product. But the thing in today's world is customer wants a change. They want a different experience. I go to a shop, I come back. I go to a shop, I come back. But what experience do you give to your customer? So as a brand, when we want to scale to the next level, we have to make sure that this experience is something that can retain the customer. So when you have something new to offer, it brings in a sense of excitement. So the excitement part would actually make sure that this is something this is a starting point of engaging with the customer. And then the next thing is where you need to make sure that you keep engaging from there. How do you build a customer relationship? That is the next thing. So this, in today's world, then especially after the post-pandemic, people are worn out. People are everybody is under stress. Businesses are under stress. So a lot of stress kind of things, when this kind of experience actually changes the perspective and it brings in a kind of a refreshment into something. Okay, I've been doing this the whole time, but what is the new thing? And these kind of things like the smart mirrors, the virtual reality, the VR, all those things, that brings in the experience that people are looking for. So this is something that we need to focus on for the brands to evolve the landscape, the retailing landscape. The next comes the style ambassadors. So this is like the traditional way. A lot of style ambassadors has been there. And then how do we tap onto these ambassadors? So let's, when I say style ambassadors, it's also virtual style ambassadors. So when you go into a shop, when you go into a website, it's immediately there's a lot of chatbots. We call it as a chatbot. Hello, sir. How are you? How can I help you today? So there's a lot of things that actually comes. It just pops out. But the thing is, in today's world, using the artificial intelligence, it finds out the customers based on the cookies, based on the search engine, what they have searched, all those things. It will show out, okay, sir, this is what you have been looking for. May I suggest you with this? So these all experiences will actually increase the customer experience. Even if it's offline, once a customer comes in, the customer is identified using their details, personal detail, maybe the phone number, whatever it is, and then shows what is the history of their buying, what has been their thing, like, okay, this customer has been buying so and so, their size is yes. So the thing is, I don't need to hassle the customer. Can I know what is the size, all those things, because some people, they feel intimidated. So all this counts. So the thing is, the moment there's a tab, it says, okay, this is the so and so customer, they have a preference towards this color, their size is this, all those things, it makes it hassle-free the experience. So this is something that has to be like tapped upon to improve the customer experience. So let me just go down quickly into the next one, which is merchandising. So in today's one, like, okay, augmented reality is something that is actually developing in the retail industry very, very fast. So what happens is, I go into a website and I'm seeing this product. So I'm like, okay, does it really like suit me or something? So this is where you can like the AR, augmented reality, will show you how the product is on the model as is kind of for fashion retailing. It will show you the model wearing the attire, how it looks, and on a 360-degree for you to get the understanding. You can also go to the next step of feeling how the fabric is. It shows you the details of the fabric, what kind of fabric has been used. In reality, you need to like go down to the store. You can just sit on your your house and just see the fabric, what is the details of the fabric, and how it feels, and everything can be done by just augmented reality. This is the next step going forward for retail industry. So this is one big thing where the retailers are still adapting, and we are also on the part of adapting to this technology. So the other things are the digital kiosk and the virtual fitting rooms. So the digital kiosk is like, I have a lot of clothings, but how do I go and engage with the customers? So does the customer go and like try everything? Of course, no. So this is where the digital kiosk will suggest you, this is something will like suit you. This is something like it will be more comfortable to you. So this is where the artificial intelligence, all these things comes into play. And then the end result is your merchandising will get sharper and sharper. So why do I say that? So once upon a time, we used to order 10 products. So am I able to sell 10 products? Of course, no. There is nothing like 100% sales. If there is a sales of 60% to 70% of the 10 products I buy is considered very good in the current industry, the trends. So the thing is, how do I improve the conversion rate of my sales? So this is where you need to understand the customer's perspective. What are they searching for? What are they looking for? So this digital kiosk, the augmented reality, the virtual fitting rooms, all these things provides the data that is required, what has been most browsed through, what are the fittings that is required, what is customer looking for in terms of color, in terms of size, in terms of cuttings, and all the data will come back into the backend system, and this is where the retailers have to process in, and you come out even more sharper as a brand. And it comes loyalty programs actually. So I already touched upon this in terms of customer experience. So I'll just go through quickly to it. So in today's world, a lot of brands actually have mobile apps. So there is this Zalora in Singapore. We have this brand called Zalora. They have their own app. And what they have, last time, okay, every brand used to have this brand app. But what happened is, over the period of time, there's thousands of brands, there's hundreds of brands. Am I going to download hundreds of brands just to go and redeem the points? It becomes more of a hassle. So last time I used to have membership cards. It transformed into membership apps. So I use this app, I go down, I show this membership app, then but the thing is, everywhere I go, if I'm to download all these things, because now I understand that space in the mobile phone has been a constraint. No matter how much everybody likes selfies, everybody likes to take photos. So now space is a bigger constraint. So if you look into that part, how do we actually go into the next stage onto that? So that is where there is this there's this app which actually works with multiple vendors. So having an individual app is good, but using this kind of apps where they actually liaise with multiple vendors. And now in today's scenario, they have gone to the next level where they come out with games where you can play games to attract the customers, where you can do some spin the wheel or something to earn points, to earn the vouchers, and then you go to that those brands to go and redeem yourself. It's a kind of a way to like get in your customer, get into like convert to sales. So engaging with the customers, I believe that I've gone through it previously in terms of customer experience to give a more of a holistic experience. So what today's customers are looking at is a seamless experience. So next comes the pricing and POS solutions. So last time there was the saying, one size fits all. So one price, for example, I give this price $100, I just keep this there and I just wait. Okay, the customer, some come, they find it high, they don't buy. Some come, they find it low, they don't want to buy. Some come, they find maybe it's kind of like a best price for them, they go and buy. So here, what we are targeting is doing a personalized deals. So based on the customer's history of buying, customer's history of purchase, we are targeting this respective customers with personalized deals. Hey, this is, for example, this has been your previous purchase. Why don't you try? We have some new arrivals or something on this part. This can help you to like increase, to convert your sales. This increases in conversion of sales. The next comes dynamic pricing. So different regions have different pricing structure. So last time international retailers had this form. They buy, everywhere they want to sell, they will sell at the same price as their home market. For example, in Singapore, if it is selling for $59, is it the right thing that I can sell in India at the same price? Does that make my brand effective, or does that make my brand out of focus or out of the way, or is kind of like unaffordable kind of thing? So this is something that we need to target in today's international markets. Is my pricing right for the market? Is it something that is the market? What is my competitors' market pricing strategy? What are the other competitors? What are my other local competitors in the market pricing? What is their pricing? And where can I make sure that I have an edge over them in this pricing? So this all is like all these things has to be like dynamically priced, so that it has to be like competitively. You have to edge over your competitors during this period of time. So the next comes the managing shelf life using artificial intelligence. So this is more on the merchandising side. I have a stock, I get the stock, and especially for fast fashion retailers like us, you have to ensure that you cannot keep a stock too long. The more you keep, your inventory is getting obsolete, and then it results in draining of your resources, wastage of your resources. Either you have to clear it out fast, or you end up losing a lot of sales. So this is where you get in the product, you manage the shelf life after a period of time. So, okay, I got a question like, what is meant by POS solution? Okay, that's great. So POS is point of sales solution. So it's a point of sales is you're facing the customer. This is where you are facing, how do you come out, how do you like sell from facing the customer? So this is this all comes under this. So managing shelf life using AI is like you get in the product, you have to ensure that you over a period of time, if you or let's say I have a shelf life of 1 month, I get this product. After this 1 month, if I don't get this, I bunk down, and after that also it doesn't, I bunk down even faster, because the intention is this: the more I keep, I waste that's precious space. Space is very important, be it the warehouse for my online retailing, or be it the front end store where it is a brick and mortar shop. Space is kind of a constraint. So I need to make sure that I use this effectively. I can rather get in a new design and sell rather than keeping this design for a long period of time. So fast fashion is the mantra for that is more of managing shelf life, because every new month there are hundreds of designs that's coming in, and I have to make sure that there is space for new designs that's coming in, and I can like keep converting the sales. So we have talked about the point of sales on the front end side. So now let's go on to the back end implementation. On the key things are supply chain, logistics and warehousing, assortment and mix, people structure. So in terms of supply chain, so as I mentioned previously, that managing vendors is kind of the tricky part. So as you manage your franchisees, it is even more harder to manage the vendors, because one is a political, because for example, a brand like us, we are in Singapore. Our manufacturing is in, say, let's say the manufacturing is in China, the manufacturing is in Vietnam. So any political differences will actually have an overall impact on the supply chain. So this actually hinders the brand development. This hinders the brand phasing to the next level. So this is where, in today's world, the key mantra for supply chain is to have diversification, diversify the supply chain. Just don't rely on one or two vendors, but to diversify, so that it can be related to dynamic pricing also. Why? Why do I say that? So if you see, the cost price on one country, for let's say China, let's say India, the cost price may vary based on the economical situation there and the cost of living there. So this is how it impacts. So if I don't diversify, I would be relying on a certain group of sectors, vendors within a certain region, and my cost, as things go up, as cost goes up, it also goes up. And whether I am affordable, that is the key question that I need to ask. So to avoid this situation, I need to make sure that I have diversified my vendors. So this has been the mantra. But in today's world, after the pandemic, I'm sure a lot of retailers are looking at it on an immediate term. Why? Because the supply chains are hit. There's a lot of restrictions from certain countries, and there's a trade wars coming up. All these things are actually had a bigger impact on the supply chain. It might be a boon for some countries, it might be a bane, it might be a problem for some countries. So to navigate these kind of issues or scenarios, it is better to have a diversified supply chain on that part. So the next would be the logistics and warehousing. So in today's world, okay, let's say I have a physical outlet, and then there are this warehouse. I am selling online, and I'm actually selling it to a lot of countries. So global countries that I'm looking at. How do I engage with the customers? How do I ensure that the customers get the products on time? So why do I emphasize on time? The issue here now is the retail environment, especially the economic, the e-commerce has evolved tremendously, that now the customer buys it, he cannot wait for a few days to get the product. I want it the next minute, or I want it the next day. So the e-commerce has evolved to such a point that the retailers has to make sure that they do the delivery, the point-to-point delivery is done within a certain period of time to retain the customer and to satisfy the customer. So this is where the digital thing comes into place. So last time I get an order, I process it, I pack it, I keep it ready for the logistics person to come in, and then I wait for them to deliver. So this takes a couple of days. But in today's world, the moment, because the systems are integrated in today's world, if your systems, especially if you are doing global retailing, if the systems are not integrated with the backend system, it's kind of a hectic. It takes more of a that requires a lot of manual things. So this delays the customer shipment, and it actually ends up you're going down on the customer experience part. So that is something that has to be ensured, and something that has to be underlined. So how do we avoid such situations? Integrating the system with 3PL, third-party logistics. So integrating with your system and with them through the third-party logistics. So what happens is, in the moment there's a sales, your warehouse is already packed. There's information. It's already packed. The third-party logistics, no need to intimidate them. They will just come in, pick up, and it's shipped out. So it's all process. It's all integrated towards everything. So today's what actually is the required one is integration of systems, actually, especially for the retail world, from supplier to the warehouse to the front end to the customer. Everything has to be integrated so that the overall scenario, overall thing actually goes in seamlessly. So, okay, the second point is the shared logistics capabilities. It's not possible for the brand who wants to expand overseas to have their own local supply or local logistics capabilities. It might seem feasible, but as the brand looks to scale the business, it becomes a kind of like a hindrance for the brand's development. Why? The resources that it takes is even more high. It's more and more actually. So which means that it drains the company's resources. So that's where the shared logistics capabilities comes in, where you engage with the 3PL third-party logistics to cater to your e-commerce, all those things, to like ensure that your end-to-end point-to-point delivery is done on time. So assortment and mix, I've gone through this point, is more of data-driven monitoring of merchandise and adaptive predictive models and real-time forecasting. So what happens is here, a lot of data in today's world. So for example, before the pandemic, we used to, it's more of a normal retailing. There was e-commerce coming up, but whether we were catching up was the question. And now in today's scenario, if you don't catch up, you end up closing the store. You end up closing the brand. The brand that has been built over the years, it will just take a nick of time just to close it out. Why? Because the business has not evolved. The business has not listened to what the customers' requirements are. This is where more of a technology is required to predict what is the things that can be based on the previous sales, the history of sales, based on the previous seasons, and these kind of situations. For example, we have gone through the pandemic. It will analyze what has been the customer response after the pandemic, what is the mindsets, what are they really looking at, and then to cater to the requirements. So why do I say that the assortment and mix? Why do I underline on that part? Okay, work from home has become the new normal in today's world. A lot of people are not going out. So a lot of people are like just staying in the house, and then there's a lot of people are working from the house. So in today's scenario, the requirement for fashion has totally drastically changed. So as a business, if you don't evolve to the requirements of the customer working from home, and I just sit down, I'm like, okay, I have this set of customers, this is what I used to do, and I don't evolve myself to what the customer requires as of now, then it's going to be a kind of like difficult scenario where the brand is a bit difficult to like move forward. So this is where we need to hear the customer. What are they searching? What are they looking for? Working from home, okay, maybe something more comfortable working from home. Since they are working from home, the overall, let's say their example is this. A person is sitting in front of the laptop the whole day, he's sitting. So there has to be, what fashion retailing can do is something that is more comfortable, so that it's not kind of like rigid, and the materials is something that is soft, so that they are more comfortable sitting from home inside the home atmosphere. And the aircon, whether they are using the aircon or they are at the normal temperature, what kind of clothing can actually help them to be more comfortable inside the house. So these are the things that can be like predicted, and then we can like start forecasting and then work out on the quantity, the volume of business that we can do on this part. So next is the people and structure. Every organization, the basic pillars of the business are the people. So if the people is like, and the system, the people have to be the people actually, I mean, like the company culture has to be in such a way that it actually gets in the people, mold them, and work them towards the direction where the company is going to. So if the structure is really not listening to the people part of the company, then it becomes very difficult to like move the company into the next phase. So how does this help? So this is where digitizing the things that is required. So how do we digitize the things for the people in terms of the organization from the top down, whatever things. So this is where smart systems comes into play. Interaction of the, in today's world, okay, for let's say a scenario, there's this operations manager. He goes down to the store to make sure that the operations, everything is like on par with what is the company's requirements. But are they able to travel now? So this is where smart systems are required to monitor what is happening on the front end. That is one. Training through the webinars kind of thing, and then monitoring how their people are actually reacting towards the customer. And then through, we can see the customers, see what is their KPIs, manage the KPIs, and then accordingly train the train the front end staff so that they can like make sure that they are even more sharpened towards like selling and like increase the sales. So these all systems are actually required to manage the people, especially the front end and the back end, to work in coordination, so that at the end of the day the company's direction is clear, and then the expansion of the brand is more seamless. Okay, so I talked about what has been happening on the back end, on the front end, and what are we going to do? What are the things that we are going to do, see for the future of retailing? What is going to be the next step? What is it that we are looking up? And what are the things that we actually need to prepare ourselves in terms of like going to the next stage? So the key thing, again, I'm trying to emphasize is digital investments. So as I mentioned, yes, I'm getting a location. I'm getting a very good location in the mall. I'm going and establishing myself. But is the investment towards your physical brick and mortar same as your investment on the digital side? A lot of people take digital investments for granted. So they'll say, hey, this is not for me. It's something for the youngsters. So, but let's just understand one thing. Even the different age groups, everybody is inside their phone. Everybody is using the laptops. Everybody is like into the digital world. There is nothing like in today's world. Even people above like certain age are actually interacting to Zoom calls, through making phone calls, and then see in social media. They are very active on social medias. So if the brand doesn't invest in the digital arena, the brand actually risks the future going forward. So how do we invest on the digital arena to expand the brand? One, extending the digital presence and engagements. So how do you expand your digital presence? This is where search engine optimization. Search engine is capturing the cookies. What are the people searching for? And then you go and chase the customers in. This is the product that you've been searching for. This is the product. You go and like, I believe a lot of people would be understanding on that part. So for example, you go to your e-commerce website, you go and search for something, and then after that there's a change of mind, and then you go to some other website, but you can see that this brand, that product has been following you wherever you go, on any different websites that you go. So they show you, hey, this was what is being looked, and if there's a price change or something, there's, hey, click onto this to get a new offer or something. So this is the engagement that has to be done to make sure that you convert this. These are kind of like a drop-in customer to your brand customer. And how do we drive traffic to digital assets? So in today's world, there's a lot of competition online. Last time it used to be more of the offline competition, but now it's the online competition. A lot of people are jostling for space to get the brand's identity outside, to make sure that they are noticed. So this is where a lot of digital influencers, we call as brand ambassadors, online brand ambassadors, brand influencers, and this is where we engage with them. And also, it's not about them alone. It's also the brand effectively using their resources in terms of the resource they have. For example, they come out with a new design. If this new design is just inside your brick and mortar shop, and you don't say that you have this new design, you're losing sales. You're just sitting inside the shop waiting for the customer to come in and see this design and to buy. But the thing is, rather, you have an easy way where you can go, you can like use a model to showcase your fashion and to say, hey, how? So because picture talks a lot of things more than what the other things are. The picture is like, oh, so if I see something on a product, let's say I see a red shirt on a model, it looks more nice. It's more of a psychological thing where it's like, hey, it looks nice. If I wear the same thing, it would be even more nice. So this is something that would like talks to you on this part, and then it drives the traffic. So this is where a lot of brand influencers, they engage with the customers, with their fans, by utilizing the products, showcasing how it has been very helpful for them, and then they divert their fans towards your website, towards your e-commerce website. And next is the seamless digital experience. When we talk about the digital experience, it's more about, there's a basic word that we use, how many clicks to do a conversion. So what do I mean by that? The moment a customer comes into a website, he clicks on one product, then he wants to do the buying. How much time does he waste to go and do the sales, to go and convert it? So if you make the customer go here and there to finally buy this product, you do this, you fill this form, you do that one, you that one, it is gone. The chances of you losing the customer is quite high. So as a brand, it has to focus on how seamless it can be, so that to make sure that it is very easy for them to like convert it to sales. So it is the more of a seamless digital experience. So next thing we are going to talk about is the innovation in omni-channel retailing. Last time it's just like we go into the store, there's 2-3 people standing there, sir, how can I help you? But in today's world, you can just go down, there's this install, which call it as a digital touch points. The customer goes in, he has an experience during the by the digital one. He just browses through the brochures, whatever is there, he just goes in, clicks in, see how the brochure will show how he looks within the digital, within the fashion, wearing that attire, and he can see himself in the mirror wearing that attire, and the conversion probability of the conversion rate is quite high on this part. And next, the experiential live streaming. So it's like you have this Facebook, social media, where people use these channels to live show their products, to showcase their products. Last time, I believe it was like there's this television. There's a lot of this television channels having they showcase their products. There's 24 hours they talk about the product, how it has impacted all those things. But in today's world, how many people are seeing those channels? Is it something that is still in sync with the current scenario? So that is, we need to think on that part and adapt ourselves to the current scenario where it is more of social media and nurturing the digital audience. So how do we nurture the digital audience? You and me, when we go and browse for something, we are the digital audience. So when we go and browse, how is it the brand tries to like satisfy the customer in terms of the products they have? Firstly, it is branding themselves to show who they are. Secondly, it is the product that they have, and to showcase the product in terms of videos, in terms of pictures, and then it is the experience they get by having this so-called virtual rooms where they can like click onto them, and it will automatically take the size of the customer and show how they are. It all can be done in the online website itself. So these are things that has to be like tapped upon to like to stay relevant in the current scenario. Next is how do we transform the store operations? So this is more of the brick and mortar. The previous one was more about the website, online retailing, how to improve the omnichannel retail. This one is more of brick and mortar. Firstly, we have to come out with buy online, purchase in store, which is BOPIS. So what is this? This one talks about a customer who is a new customer. This is more used for a new customer. He doesn't know what is his brand. So it's like he's a bit more reluctant. So when people are reluctant, there has to be something as a kind of a carrot kind of thing that has to be given to them to try, and then you bring in the customer on board. So this is where it's like, okay, we give you the experience where you can buy this and like you can like get it back, and then you can go down to the store and then you can buy it. So this gives the confidence to the customer that he is spending something which is not in vain, and still like if he's still satisfied, he'll go and purchase it in store. So he doesn't need to wait for the store staff to come in and to talk to him or to like sell the product to him. He's already made up his mind. He just wants to physically check the product and go. And in today's scenario, the safe experience is kind of very important. Why? We are looking at a scenario where we haven't seen in the past few decades. The pandemic has been very severe, where everybody is looking for the safety. So safety has become a paramount thing right now. So it's like the safe distancing, wearing of mask. So as a brand, if we don't shout out to our customers saying that, hey, our store is clear, we sanitize the stores, we sanitize the products, and we have to ensure that whatever you're trying has been has gone through a round of cleaning, and then the product, every day we have a cleaning of the stores. And this is kind of engaging with the customers to ensure that the product, that the customers are confident to come into your stores. And also because in today's world, people are like, okay, if I go out, I'm susceptible to corona. I don't know how it comes. Maybe we don't know who has used this product before. So this is where there has to be some assurance from the retailer giving out to the customers to boost their confidence, because now the confidence is kind of too low now. So as a retailer, if the brand doesn't invest in how to boost the confidence of the customer, they are at liability in the sales side. So apart from that is operation efficiency and store optimization. So last time, let's say I had 10 stores. In today's world, if going for a bigger store is something that I'm looking at, is it something that is feasible, and is it something that the business is something that can take, can cover the overhead cost? So these are key things. I need to make sure that my operations are efficient, and then the stores are like spread out across certain geographical locations so that it can cater to that geographical location, not just for the sake of numbers, but whether it is really efficient and it can really perform. So if there is a problem in terms of the performance of the stores, it is better to weed out that store rather than keeping it and to like bring down the other stores. Because in today's scenario, we are looking at retail stores which, like, if one store performs and the other stores doesn't perform, it brings out the overall performance of the store. So in today's scenario, it's not about the numbers or the number of stores that we are looking at, but how efficient is the store and how optimized your business is, because the overhead costs are increasing day by day. Your cost of salary is increasing, your cost of running the business is increasing, your cost of logistics is increasing, everything is increasing. So as the business has to fine-tune the cost to make sure that they stay relevant, and this the cost that they optimize has to be invested into the arena where it can bring in more business. So let me just go. Okay, so I think I'll just touched upon the topics that has been relevant for the retail industry, as in the aspect that we are as a brand are looking at. So I would like to underline the key thing again: challenges brings opportunities. So I would like to share with you all that yes, this has been a hard period for everybody, especially for the retailers. Retailers has been hard hit. It is one of the manpower intensive industry. It has been hard hit. There's been a lot of layoffs. There has been a lot of upside downs kind of thing. But the thing is, if the business has the mentality to evolve, if the business has the mentality to learn, it is always the survival of the fittest. So we can still go ahead, the business can survive, and we can like scale to new heights, and we can keep expanding. So a lot of people have this question: digital thing, does it really improve my business? Because I still believe that my offline sales is actually good compared to the online sales. So my question is, for how long? How long can we depend on the offline and offline rather than the online? So it's a step-by-step process where, as your offline is thriving, start to invest on the online side and to move digitally, so that as the future generations comes in, you are already equipped with the relevant platforms to go and better serve the customers. So I would like to thank you, each and every one of you, for this opportunity for me given to me to share on this platform, on this webinar. And thank you for your time. And I believe that the next is the Q&A session. I just hand over this to the student, the organizer, so you can take it forward from here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. One question is coming from Mr. Kesavam. That do you think hiring model is suitable for Indian culture?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Okay, firstly, as a brand, I'll tell you our experience, what we actually went through, and then we'll see how we have actually overcome that. So when this hiring model started, it started out in the Western world, in the UK. So there's a lot of companies. So they have started bankrupt, and then now they are on the green line actually. So in today's scenario, the question is, because today's scenario, safety has been one of the key issues. So it's like, if I rent this cloth, what has been the previous, I mean, like, I'm not sure how safe it is for me to wear this product, and whether it's safe for me personally. Hygiene, all those things comes into question. So this is where the brand has to ensure that the customers are confident of. So as I mentioned, it is a brand building is not a one-day exercise. It goes over a period of time, where you have to build the brand over a period of time, and you have to bring in the confidence, and that's where the customers will start trying. So these models that I mentioned upon, especially the hiring model, are new concepts actually, which hasn't been fully utilized by all the brands. It is still like on the improvement stage. But on coming back to your question, whether it is suitable for the Indian culture. Okay, so yes, I would say as of now it is on the nascent stage. So which means that it will take some time before it will start settling in. So why do I say that? Okay, as things goes by, as the cost keeps increasing, the affordability for me, rather than, because okay, we are looking into a world where the living space is getting smaller and smaller. So why do I say that? Last time our grandfathers used to live in open space, with the farmland is there, they have a bigger house like this. So can we reflect on ourselves, like where do we live now? We are looking ourselves in apartments. The space has constraint. There's a space constraints, and we have actually the space is actually reduced. So as time goes by, over the period of time, we would be having a space. We just go back to house just to sleep. There might be not even space, and because the cost of real estate is going up. So that is where this business, the hiring model, where we just use this product, I don't need to have a storage space. So this will click upon people who are more of like paying guests in different space. For example, I'm in a place like I come from Coimbatore. Okay, so I stay in Chennai. So the thing is, if I stay in Chennai, I might be hiring a location, and this location doesn't come cheap. It is expensive. So for me to go and store all my products, it is kind of a hassle for me. So the thing, what happens is, I want to make sure that I just have a few products for me to survive on that space. So I'll make things more comfortable, and this model will actually address to my needs. So this is for such kind of customers I'm looking for. So over this period of time, this model will actually start catering to the space constrained customers who are having these issues actually. So yeah, I hope you answered this question actually.
Sir, another question is there.
Yes.
By Dr. Malini ma'am, that what is the difference?
Excuse me, can I, sir, can I pose my question, sir?
Yes, please, madam. Yes.
Yeah, sir, this is Dr. Malini from Karaikal campus with the same department, as I'm a colleague of Dr. Lita Ramakrishnan.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to know regarding this differential pricing, as I'm a frequent visitor to the Singapore, because most of the people would like to see have a shopping only in the malls. If you see in the Singapore, we don't find any crowd and the traffic jams on the city roads, right?
Sure.
So
Yes.
either we will find it in a shopping malls or in a MRTs.
That's correct.
See, yeah, instead of this pandemic situation, still the people are roaming in the shopping malls. We don't find much difference, the pandemic and before pandemic. Even I was there in 2019 January also.
Okay.
So, but the situation is absolutely normal. So what could you say that this here, the Mustafas, the same crowd will be maintained, and when it comes to any Clementi or Woodlands value shops, the same crowd will be maintained. What is exactly the differential pricing among these two retail shops? Would you like to please? Yes, sir.
Okay, in terms, your question comes into two parts. One is in terms of the crowd management, and then comes the differential pricing. Okay, so in terms of crowd management, okay, yes, as you mentioned, it has been quite a journey here, and it's considered quite safe currently in Singapore. There has been 0 local cases for the past few days. So what has happened is it has boosted the confidence of people going out. So they are coming out to the malls, they are meeting people, they are partying out with people, then they are like starting interacting, which is bringing the retail back on track. So our local industry here is getting back on track. But at the same time, in terms of there has been a lot of guidelines that has been implemented by the government to ensure that the businesses stay relevant and the customers follow the protocols. So why do I say that? Okay, any guidelines is always a medicine. Do we like to eat the medicine? Of course, no. But the thing is, at the end of the day, after taking the medicine, it is kind of, it helps us to grow. It helps us to stay relevant. Come over the obstacle. So it's the same thing right now. When the government comes out with the guidelines, the businesses will have an impact. The businesses will have this issue. Okay, this is going to affect my business. If the government comes with a guideline, only 10 people allowed in a certain, or let's say in one of the shop at any given time, of course, it's going to impact my business. Why? Because in the place where I had 50 people, the government is restricting 10 people. But on the other side, we have to see in such a perspective like, I'm getting a customer for 10 people. I'm getting the sales for 10 people. And then I need to invest on my digital side to make sure that I can cater to this 50 people. Why? It is for the long run. If I don't cater to the guidelines, I'm looking myself at a second phase or second wave of COVID-19. I cannot sustain the second period of the business cannot sustain the next wave. So if I don't do that right now, I am actually going to have this issue later, which is going to be even big. So yes, it's a testing time. It's kind of a testing time for the business. But if we don't follow the rules right now, the retail industry is going through a tough time. We have to abide by the guideline, and we have to work hand in hand with the government, with the public, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the business survival. It is also the survival of the humankind. The whole ecosystem is linked to each other. Only if the customers are confident, they come to the store. If the customers are not confident, the retail business is going to die for sure. So this is something as the ecosystem. So the safe distancing, all those things has to be practiced. So yes, of course, the recovery will take time. It is a bitter thing, but we have to undergo it. It's kind of a surgery. We have to undergo, but after that, over a period of time, it is something that we can expect the bigger results actually. So we can be back on track. What we have to do as of now is to invest the business in the right way. So I understand that liquidity is kind of a problem, cash flow is kind of a problem to all the businesses, but it's to focus the business through. This is something that we can where we feel that only 10 customers has come to a store. We can work out on areas where we can reach out to the 40 customers through the online digital media or the e-commerce one, and then we can try to cater to them. So that answers your first part of the question. The second part of your question is in differential pricing. So the differential pricing basically is the branding that the brand actually builds in that respective country. So if you ask the question, when you mentioned that there's a differential pricing in Woodlands and Jurong, both are different locations in Singapore, I would say that there is no differential pricing within a country, because we are living in a global country, a globalized world, where even differential pricing in Singapore and India is even noticed to the minute one. I would say one example is, I believe there's a brand called Charles & Keith. They do with footwear. In Singapore, they sell for let's say, just an example, in Singapore, they sell for 500 rupees equivalent. In India, they are selling the same product for 1,000 rupees. So this is where differential pricing comes in. And why is it? Why? Because in Singapore, they are considered mid-affordable range brand. And that has been the brand image that they have cultivated over the period of time. But in India, it is considered a high-end brand, kind of above affordable one. It's kind of on the, not the mid one, but above the mid one. So that is where they are priced in such a way. And then that's the lifestyle that they have actually created in that market. So that actually creates the value for that brand, and that's where the differential pricing kicks in. So I cannot just go to one country and I just, okay, in Singapore I sell for 500 rupees, I want to sell in India for 1,000 or 2,000. It doesn't work that way. It is what is the brand that has been cultivated, what is the brand that has been built, and then it reflects on that part. So that's where the differential pricing kicks in. Why? Because we have to be very careful on that differential pricing in today's world. Why? because it's a global world. Again, I'm underlining the same thing. Anything can be found online. And if I'm doing this, the customer finds that this is something that the brand is trying to cheat me, and I might end up losing a customer. So it is something that has to be like literally taken care of very seriously. Yeah, I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Wonderful explanation. Sir. Thank you.
Sir, another question is there that due to COVID-19, we are focusing on contactless transaction. So how we can satisfy the remote customers or village customers in the rural area?
Sorry, can you come back again? I didn't get your question properly.
Yeah, due to COVID-19, we are focusing on contactless transactions. So how can we satisfy the remote customer or village customers in the rural area?
Okay, so that's a good question actually. So this is potentially reaching out to customers who have not. Okay, there are two scenarios here. One is a customer who is being your brand follower, and second one, looking at a customer who is not your brand follower but might be your potential customer. So these are the two scenarios we can see here. So first one, okay, there is a customer who used to regularly frequent your store, but now he's not coming in because of COVID and all the regulations that's coming in. So what can the brand do? The brand, this is where data analytics plays a bigger role. We have to analyze what has been your previous customers thing. So this all data comes out actually when you go, and this is where in today's world, in the current generation, just to be honest, actually, I'm just getting into this data analyst, because now everywhere there is a bigger opportunity for this data analyst roles actually. Why? Every company is now relying on data, and data is the gold mine for each and every company. Based on this is where the company comes on with the strategy, all those things. So coming back to your question, so in terms of like what is how to reach the customers? Okay, one, can we tell that a lot of people, okay, now TikTok is banned, a lot of people even from the rural areas were using TikTok. Am I right to say that? So what the brand has to strategize is using certain social medias. I don't want to specify on any specific social medias, but using certain social medias to advertise to customers who are far flung, and then making sure that you get in okay, now today's customers getting is very easy. They click onto your advertisement, make it more appealing, make it more attractive, make it affordable, make sure that you are relevant to the market that you are targeting upon. So when they click onto that, you have to create that inquisitiveness. Okay, what is it this brand is coming to tell you about? What is it the brand has the product about? When they click onto that, that's where your work starts in. You get in the customer details first. Okay, online business is always like this, where a small example is like this. Last time when Amazon and Flipkart started in, there was not much of people. Everybody was saying, hey, what are these people doing here? Everybody is buying from nearby Annachi Kare. Everybody will go there, and it's very convenient to me. It's just two streets nearby. I go for a walk, all those things. But the same people who have said that are now buying from Amazon, and they feel that is becoming more of a neighbor rather than the shop that is nearby. We call it as the Kirana shops. So what has happened over this period of time? Because these people is kind of like they have invested heavily into the marketing. Initial period of time, they didn't really make money. Why? Because they wanted to reach to the end of the nook and corner of the country. So even if it is a remote, they have to give the promise that I can deliver to your place, and I can give this, and I have to like get them in. So give them offers, give them something that they can never reject it. So this is something. So one, getting back your original customers is using data analytics, and then giving out the offers and something using social media platforms is one, and using other modes of advertising, so that you're getting these customers first on track. Don't look at the profits. Don't look at your retail sales. Don't look at the conversion rates, but just go to them. Say that, hey, this is the product I have. Maybe you can try it. I can give you at this rate or something. Come out with some set of line of products that is specifically targeted for these customers. Why? For example, I'm into fashion retailing. I can tell, okay, this product, maybe I'm having this, let's say some product, maybe the cotton. In India, cotton shirts are very, very, very required because in Singapore it's more of polyester. Everything is polyester, polyester, polyester. Majority of the things are polyester. Why? Because China is one of the biggest production of polyester. But in India is one of the biggest producer of cotton-related products. So the thing is, I come out with some cotton-related products and I come out with their daily wear. I cannot go out with my what product I have. I need to understand the market. Then I reach out to them, and these are my potential customers. From there, I tap onto these customers, and then I follow up to them and to ensure that I can retain these customers over the period of time. So I hope that answers the question. Is there any question?
No, sir. No questions.
I got a question actually. It just popped out. I didn't read it fully. Okay, there was this question from Femina Litika. It's like this. Nowadays, customer taste, expectation, and their priority has changed drastically. Very true. How to retain the customers and withhold the position in the market? Okay, that is from Dr. Sahul Hamid. Thank you, sir, for this question. Okay, so that is where I touched on this topic a bit earlier. What I was saying, it's like this. Last time, the products, I like this product. I take this product. I keep it in my shop. The customer comes, they'll buy, they'll go. Why? There are a few things. One, they wanted to buy a product. Next, they are like, okay, if I want to buy only the product that I have in my mind, I need to go to 5 to 6 places, or maybe moving out to here. Today's scenario, let's relate to the same scenario in today's context. Do I have the time to move around here and there? Yes or no? That is one. And then the second question is the products, whether in today's world, the products that I have as a brand retailer, it's not the products the customer might be looking for. So I need to ensure that the products that the customer requires is something that I actually cater to them. So this is the experience that the customer is looking at. If it is more about, okay, I have this product, I want to sell this product, I make money, full stop, this is not how the brand is growing nowadays. This has been the mantra for the past few decades, but this is not the mantra going forward. So the mantra going forward is to understand the requirements. So you have to hear the customer one. Second, you have to customize your products. Last time it used to be like this, one size fits all. So I do a product, I don't care, this is my product, you buy, you don't want to buy, it's fine. So last time it was like, okay, this design is only for slim or petite ladies or petite guys. If the guy is big, if the guy is big or they are large, they are fat, they cannot wear this product. But those are the times that has actually passed by. In today's world, if the brand is doing the same, the brand is actually on the way to destruction. Why? Because we are looking at inclusivity. So we are making sure that everybody, even the customers, everybody is on board. So this is something that the brand is more inclusive in nature, has to be inclusive in nature. So when the brand is more inclusive in nature, that's where the brand starts to hear the customer's voice, and that's where they give out experiences. So one, they have to be inclusive in nature. Second, they have to be customized to the customer's requirements. Three, they have to come out with experience. What experience does the customer have once they come into a brand? Is it just purchasing, or is it that you give out the experience? So as I mentioned, there are a lot of experiences. Where I go to the website, there's this virtual fitting room. I can just, sitting from my room, I can just try the products. I can click onto the different designs, and then I can see myself there. So this is experience. I create a sense of excitement in the customer. So this is something that actually that brings the customer. Hey, then the customers here, okay, they go out and sell to another customer. I went to this product. I went to this website. They have a different way of analyzing the designs. I can see myself in that design and how I look. It looks really nice. And then the experience. I buy this product. I get it in the next day. Is how you fulfill the product after sales. How do you fulfill it? So these are the things. How do you retain the customer? If we are to sit in just waiting for them to buy and then I just sell and just my profit is made, I believe that it's a long time. It's over. So now if the businesses don't adapt to the next phase of how to like cater to the customers, I think it's kind of difficult to retain the customers. So one, loyalty points, you have to be a bit more working on the loyalty points also. As more they buy, the more they earn, and then they can also liaising with different similar brands to give them value proposition. It's like they come to this brand, I buy this, and then I get these points. I can also work out with other few brands. So the key thing is this: you are creating a brand ecosystem of like-minded brands, and you're keeping this pool of customers within yourselves and the ecosystem around you. So this is how you play. If you are to stand as a single brand, and if you are to like work out around this, it's kind of difficult now, because standalone brands are facing bigger problems right now. Because the amount of money needed to invest in all those things is kind of a heavy investments that is required in terms of that. So you create an ecosystem. You create, okay, for example, I am into fashion retailing. I can work out with some lifestyle, let's say, okay, for example, let's say there is this gym which provides a set. So I can say, hey, you buy from my product, you can get a 10% off in that gym. So so we create a lifestyle ecosystem, and we maintain this pool of customers within ourselves. So then you go to the gym says, hey, you want to have a sportswear, you can buy this from this one, we give you a discount. So then the sportswear guy will say, okay, you can go out. So this is how you create an ecosystem of brands within yourselves. So yeah, and this is one of the ways that we are actually implementing to retain the customers actually. Yeah, that answers the question.
Any more questions? No, I think no questions are coming.
More questions are coming. Okay. No more questions means we can move on to the vote of thanks, please.
It's a good lecture, and lots of friends.
Sorry, actually the connection got lost.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, please, we are able to hear you.
Yes, sir, please.
It's a very good lecture. I have been listening all through. Lots of trends, especially the students who are doing MBA in the marketing area, marketing specialization. The whole list of trends you are able to put before them, and it's a great lecture. And we are able to see the lot of destruction or the destructive model that has come up with this in the light of digitalized one, from brick and mortar to the tele brand are selling to this new. In the light of what you are talking about, this artificial intelligence and augmented reality, maybe much more new dimensions may likely to emerge. That is likely to provide lots of new opportunities to the students. That may be one area where students have to now start working, because of course many students are from engineering background, they're coming to the MBA program. Maybe they have to now sharpen their knowledge or sharpen their skills to supplement the requirements of industry. Although with a marketing background, they should also able to take up this type of mini projects so as to see that they're onto the business or they are into the employment market. That is what I feel when I'm listening to you. It's a great. Thank you very much.
True, sir.
Thank you.
Very true. So I would like to add one point. So as Professor Chandrasekhar has mentioned, the key thing here is, yes, management skills are required, but in today's world, when we come out of the shell, our IT skills has to be sharpened. So the IT skills in terms of like, how do we analyze the data and then work towards the data? Because at the end of the day, data is everything in today's world. Taking any decisions, be it strategic decisions or any decisions in terms of the company organization structure, whatever it is, data will provide you. The data never lies. So you have to mine through the data. So these are the things that has to be focused upon and work upon the data to come out with conclusions actually. So that is where we'll that will be the direction going forward, and that will be the direction to retain the customers and bring in the brand to the next level in terms of expansion. So yeah, thank you for this opportunity, sir.
Thank you. We are all benefited. Our students are able to get lots of insights. We're very happy you have started from the mommy daddy roadside shop to the.
I just wanted to, anything we start, we need to know the history of where we started, and then we have to understand what is the future going forward. So we know the background is much better, and then we can know the future going forward, actually. That's fine.
Good. Thank you.
May I now request
Hello.
Somebody to switch on the video, please. Also, our participants for a screenshot, please. Thank you all. Students, please click your screenshot. And then we can move on. Please switch on the video.
All those who are online, they can.
Thank you so much. We got the screenshot with our Honorable Vice Chancellor, our Dean, and our resource person. That's so nice of you, sir. We can now move on to the vote of thanks if all the questions are answered, please.
Hello.
Hello.
I only wish to add towards the end, I attended a major part of the talk. What John Wesley has explained, he explained in good detail. Invariably, whenever you invite anybody for a talk, one would stick to a timings of about 40-45 minutes as usual. But he's given a fairly in-depth talk, which I'm sure would be very useful to everybody. And this speaks about the sincerity of a person who's giving talk. He never thought of that 35 minutes, 40 minutes slot. He went on from A to Z of the entire thing. Thank you. Well done. I must appreciate it. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The students, for your vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. I, on behalf of Department of Management, Pondicherry University, Carical Campus, and the student team, we are highly grateful to Professor Gurmeet Singh, the esteemed and the most respected Vice Chancellor of our university, who, despite his busy schedule, has earmarked his time to grace this international webinar and inaugurates the same. Sir, you are the most student-friendly Vice Chancellor, and we are truly blessed today to have you amidst us today. Let's extend our most sincere thanks to the resource person of today, Mr. John Wesley, Director of Business Development at BICE, which is Singapore's leading ladies fashion brand, for accepting our invitation to deliver this brilliant business talk as our part of Executive International Webinar Series. With his motivating and inspiring talk and managing turbulence in international retailing, thank you, sir, for spending time and energy for us and kindling our business ideas with bright hope. So kind of you, and for this great service, as we know how busy you are this month, as the March is closing of accounts month in an accounting year. I express my heartfelt thanks to our beloved School of Management, Pondicherry University, Dr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, sir, for taking this event to the next level with his presence. We also thank our beloved center head and the head of department, Dr. S. Senthil Kumar, sir, for his moral support and encouragement. We are grateful to our senior professor, Lalita Ramakrishnan, for taking up this innovative initiative, guiding our student at the back end, and for planning series of executive webinars by renowned resource person from the corporate across the globe during this COVID pandemic for our benefit. We can feel the proud moment which she would be having as a student, have been doing as well as in the history, and we, the student of second and fourth year semester, would like to assure you that we also emulate taking the inspiration from our alumni and the resource person in this meet. I am also happy to express our affable thanks to our distinguished teachers who have joined us today, Dr. Bhairavanand sir, Dr. Madhavya sir, Dr. D.S. Malini ma'am, who made this executive webinar series meet a grand success with the encouragement and the kind presence, and extend the gratuity to other professors, scholars, students, administrators, and executives from the industry who joined us today. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here for accepting our invitations. Last but not the least, I thank all the members of our organizing committee, my classmates, juniors, for the support in making this function a resounding success. Finally, I leave you this inspiring quote by Swami Vivekananda: "Arise, awake, and stop until goal is not reached." And we all know
Stop
that.
not.
And
Stop
we
not
all
till the
know,
goal is reached.
yeah, arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. And we all know that this is just initiatives from our department, and we are glad to receive this great response from you all. Participants registered for this webinar and made this meet so special. A big thanks to each one of you. We value you and every moment that you stay in the temple of learning. We have more to come ahead and expect your gracious presence every time. Thank you all.
Let's close the session for today. Thank you all for your gracious presence. I'm really very, very grateful to our Vice Chancellor for sparing his morning session fully with our students of Karaikal campus and in this webinar. Also, our Dean, Professor Chandrasekhar sir, who has always a passion for learning, for being with us. Thank you all. See you all in our next webinar. Thank you, Mr. Wesley, for enlightening us with your experience and knowledge. Nice of you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
The webinar is closed.